basketball to volleyball, CPHS 6 covers the sports. Exciting local high school and community sports can only be found on CPHS 6. Home entertainment with a touch of class.
Welcome to another sports presentation from CPHS 6. I'm Larry Mayans. My guest is Scott Desjardin, tennis coach at Northern. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you.
We're into a new MAC league this year. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, they've got quite a few good teams grouped into it. You've got Grosse Pointe South, Grosse Pointe North, ourselves, and possibly Utica Stevenson will give us
That's the powerhouse, right?
That's the powerhouse.
How does that compare to the ML from last year?
It's much tougher. Stevenson has a lot of players that play in the Detroit area, and so does Grosse Pointe South. And the last 2 years, they've had 4 nationally ranked players on their team, and it'll probably be the same this year, although I've heard maybe a couple of them might not be there, but year after year after year, they've got the top players in the state going to Grosse Pointe South because they can recruit them there.
Oh, but Northern's not done too bad.
No,
either
no,
last
we'll
year.
be in the top 10 in the state again.
You know, the girls I know have been very successful with the program.
Yep.
And kicking off the season this early in the year, you know, I think the first game is the 12th, or first match is the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Cold. What effect does that have on the player?
Quite a bit, really. It takes them longer to get warmed up. There's more of a opportunity to hurt themselves when they're stretching for shots. The ball blows around a lot. It's an awful lightweight ball. It blows around a lot. The wind comes into it more than the cold.
Well, you're just coming off a spring break, too, now.
Yeah.
That's got to have some effect.
They've all been down to Florida where it's been nice and hot. So,
So do you think they played down there?
I
Play
doubt
tennis?
it. No, they played, but they didn't play tennis.
Okay. You know, when you look at the schedule and what's happening, you know, right early in the season, I think you have PH coming up right on the schedule. Now, they're in a different division in the MAC League this year.
Yes, they are. And they've probably got the best player in the area in Chris Rosso. But whoever our guys are that play number 1, they're still going at that, Tim Hansen and Tim Hamill. They'll give them a good match. Tim used to beat them a couple years ago. They split their 4 matches, and then last year they didn't play. But they'll have some real good matches this year. But I think Chris is probably the number 1 player in the area right now. And unfortunately, they lost some good players to graduation last year. But
you know, when you're looking at the tennis matches and you're looking at the winter schedule and you're looking at kids that be involved, you're not in the building as a coach. How do you keep in contact with these guys?
Jim Burnell keeps me coming up there all the time. He says, I want to see you every day or every other day, and if you can't make it, call. So I'm going up there a lot, and I'm finding out what's going on with the guys, and you know, plus with the practices. And you can't believe how often they call my house asking stuff, so I keep in good touch with them.
Well, that's good. Who do you have coming back this year?
Everybody. You got everybody. The only player we lost last year was Jim Curtis. He played number 4 singles, and he was a powerhouse there. He only lost 4 or 5 matches the whole year. I think he won 25 matches. We lost Jason Deegan, my number 2 singles player. He moved to Washington. But everybody else is back. We've got Tim Hamill and Tim Hansen. They'll battle for number 1. And naturally, the other one will play 2. Chris Atkins, he's a sophomore this year. He's a tough player. He'll play 3. Mike Bales didn't play tennis last year, but he played the year before. He'll be playing number 4 singles.
It's interesting. Mike is a hockey player also.
He's a good athlete.
Good athlete.
So he'll play 4 singles. And my perennial crunch time guys, Todd Bloomquist and Brian Jameson, they're once again at number 1 doubles. They hardly ever lose. I love having those guys there. That's a guaranteed point every match.
Of course, when you span the court with their width,
yeah,
it's pretty hard to get by them.
Can't get it over them, can't get it around them, can't get it through them. They're tough. They both get up to the net, and they play doubles the way I want it played. And so they're tough to beat. And then we've got probably 8 players fighting for the last doubles spots. Paul Downey, he's a cinch at number 2 doubles, him and Kevin Beeden. Kevin's a good athlete, so they'll probably play second doubles, and then, like I say, the last 2 double spots are open, but I'm sure we've got good depth. And
well, you know, when you build that program as you have, how do you keep the enthusiasm going? You know, I know that you're playing about 3 days a week, but within the team, you know, once you've got these guys pegged into positions, how do you keep the guys behind them happy?
Well, the players on the team are so good, so deep, that really a lot of the best matches they play are practice matches. So
you got some inter-squad stuff going?
yeah, every night. Every night we get them playing different guys, and so they see different styles of a match play, and each one of them has good competition every night. So.
What are the tournaments that you're going to enter this year? I know that there have been a lot of invitationals, and it seems to me that you've been involved with the Holly tournament, and I think PH is having a tournament this year. What are some of the others?
Okay, well, the Holly Invitational, a couple years ago it was a so-so tournament. They've really upgraded it, and now this year going there, they've got Birmingham Groves, which is a state powerhouse every year, a couple Bloomfield schools. They have Traverse City, state powerhouse every year. I think that's the largest.
Well, it's the largest Class A school in the state,
yeah.
Right?
So they've got a great pool of talent to pick their players from. Then there'll be us. Grand Blank's not too bad. And a couple other teams, but it's going to be a heck of, probably the best invitational we'll see all year. May 4th, we go to Traverse City Invitational. That's a great time. It's a great tournament. Kids love going up there. And the MAC tournament's going to be a real dogfight
MAC is always a good one,
yeah.
with all of the new teams. But, you know, that MAC conference really should be, and one of the concepts, of course, you know, when the MAC was formed, is that they could place teams, you know, if they petition to place them based on the strength of program.
Yeah.
And of course, your program has been traditionally strong, so you're in that red division, and you know, that's a tough league.
Especially in a tournament format, because you never know really who you're going to meet. It's really a whim the way they seed the players when you have the seeding meetings, and it's just like a big tournament is all it is, and it's not exactly like it's a round robin. And
of course, when you're going 3 days a week, you know, plus the Saturdays, now what happens with bad weather? How do you make up those?
Make-up dates, you know, we've got just a very few days open, but you try to get those matches in. And some days, on those Saturdays, we'll wait for hours. When there'll be 30 people out there squeegeeing off the courts, rolling them, trying to get them dry. They try to get it in
Try to get those dates
every day, yeah.
Well, I know it's going to be an interesting season, and I think, you know, people that have not been out to watch the tennis between you know, Portier Northern and Portier and High, but especially just the high school caliber of tennis, I think, has really gone up. What do you attribute that to?
In the area, I attribute it mostly to the Portier Tennis House. They've had programs running for kids there for so long, and so many of our players from Portier Northern and Portier and I both have been in the programs for years, ever since they were little kids. Yeah, see Todd Bloomquist now here, he's 6'5" or 6'6". I remember when the racket was bigger than he was, and he was taking tennis lessons there, and it's the same with Tim Hamill, Tim Hanchin.
Right through the recreation program, through
Mike
the tennis.
everybody,
also.
yep.
Yeah.
Summertime leagues, you know, all
I know
through
the
winter.
Robinson really has attracted a lot of players. And are you still playing?
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
I let the guys beat up on me now and then.
I was going to say, how do you make out during practice time? They want a piece of you, do they?
Every year they like to get me early. They better get me early because towards the middle of the year I got a little bit better chance.
I see. Okay.
But,
well, Scott, we certainly want to wish you good luck in the tennis season, and especially, you know, and see if one of the Portier schools can. Oh, well, actually, both of them can win it this year, win the MAC conference, and
it might happen.
Good luck in the tournaments.
Thank you.